Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Savedich, and the RailCats dropped game one in a offensive lackluster effort for the RailCats. Pitching, I would say, was a positive. Fielding was a positive. Hitting wasn't there. RailCats went down in order 5 times in a row, went down in order 5 times out of 9 innings, and only 4 times either getting a base or getting a hit. Only 3 hits. Valera, the first one to get a hit for the RailCats this season. Will Decker, the first one to hit extra bases. And then Miguel Sierra is the other one. The RailCats eye-poppingly struck out 11 times. Yeah. There's really... there's a lot of positives to take away from this. But offensively... I know it's the first game. I didn't want to fall down this rabbit hole, and I knew I was, because I said the earlier podcast, I said it's early, and we're probably going to see pitching is going to probably be the odds on favorite for the RailCats for a little bit, until the hitting kind of catches up. And like I said, this isn't the full lineup to what to expect. And I said that it was gonna be a lockdown outfield, and I was completely thrown off that it was completely different than what I was expecting. But I'm defensively, once Jesus comes back, I think it's gonna shuffle a little bit, and I really think the odd man out could potentially be Marcos Gonzalez, because the way Basabe played at third, sign me up for him to play third the entire year. That man was a human highlight reel. He had back-to-back diving diving plays. Who was it that it was against? Ooh, darn it! I think it was DeSandro. I think it was DeSandro. I think he had, or no, it was Mayberry. My bad. It was Mayberry. It was Mayberry in the second. Mayberry was timing up Sanabria very, very well at that first at bat, which is, well, not very well, but like really early. And the first one just went foul, and then I think he fouled one back, and he did it again, and he threw him out. He made a handful of pop out catches. I mean, I like him at there. I think maybe his throws are a little bit wild, but yet again, he was making really good plays at third, so it was kind of hard to judge him there. Defensively, like I said, I think in this year I feel better about defensive efforts than I did in the past 2 years. I think we're probably more defensively sound. But we can be all those things. And if we can't score runs, that's going to be the issue. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm not going to go into every nitty-gritty detail of inning 1. This is what happened. Inning 2, this is what happened. I don't like that, because then it turns into you just hearing me talk about numbers and how the game went. Like, if you saw the game, you know what's going to happen. I'll give you the meat and potatoes, and we'll cut off the fat, because we don't necessarily need to know the fat. Because do I have to go through the 3 innings or 2 innings where the RailCats went 3 up and 3 down? Like, yeah, it's gonna be quick, but like, there's nothing there. So really, to get it started, the Dogs started off the first inning scoring on a sac fly from Crook, when Bell hit a double, stole third. DeSandro walked, he stole second. Crook sack flied, and then the third out of that inning was a ball got away from Quintana. DeSandro tried to steal, and Quintana threw him out. That was scoring there in the first. Scoring in the fourth came from Teeter walked, and then Parks hit a double, which brought Teeter in later in the inning. Grant Parks hit a grounded out to Gonzalez to Sierra at short, and then Crook and Mayberry popped out to Basabe, and then in the eighth inning to a couple insurance runs, Teeter hit a DeSandro lined out to Valera. Crook got on by a walk. Mayberry grounded out to Basabe. Teeter hit a single RBI. I'm all kind of screwed up here. My bad. I'm screwed up. I still got a little bit of rust in me. All right, I haven't done a post game in a hot minute, so I'm a little rust. Basically, what it came down to is Teeter hit Crook in, who got on via walk. He stole. That's what happened. He stole second, and then Mayberry grounded out, and then that's how it all transpired. Anyways, ultimately, they scored 3 runs. The RailCats didn't do anything. Sanabria, he pitched 3 2/3 inning, gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. The one run came in when Diaz came in, so that's why he got tagged with that. And I was kind of surprised that Lamar Rogers took out Sanabria, just because, I mean, by the time that he got taken out, there was already 2 outs. He gave up a walk. Like I understand he gave up the walk, but like Parks wasn't. Parks walked the last time that he saw him, and then Grant Parks grounded out. So it was one of those like kind of confusions of maybe arm tiredness, and like I said, Sanabria didn't. Last time was back in 2017. So like obviously you didn't want to tax him too much. I think he's going to be like, it's one of those that I think he's trying to be back in the starting pitching so he can get back into affiliate ranks, and that's how he's going to probably have to do it, is by being a starting pitcher. And he has that ability. It's probably going to take him a minute to get him moving on that. So I think right now we're probably going to see pitchers go probably 3 2/3 to 4 innings, 4 2/3 before the bullpen starts getting used, and that's where some of these bullpen pitchers are going to have to really carry the load, and you're essentially probably going to have 2 starting pitcher styles of a relief appearance here. You're going to have the starting pitcher, and then you're going to have a pitcher that's going to have to offload some of that. I was surprised when Andres Diaz came in. He gave up the 1 hit. But other than that, I mean, he got the ground out, and that was it. That was it for him. So I was kind of surprised that we didn't see more out of it. I don't know, burning bullpen so quickly and so early on in the season is probably the best thing to do. But I'm not the manager, so this is just what I see. I'm not saying the pitching was the highlight. If you're gonna take anything out of this conversation or this podcast episode, is the pitching was the highlight. Yeah, they gave up 3 runs, and yeah, you look at Sanabria's ERA, because he gave up the 2 runs, he only pitched 3 2/3 inning. But like, this is where the numbers come into it. Yeah, he gets tagged with the loss, but when your team doesn't score a run, how many games are you expected to win? If you don't score any runs in 100 games, you're not going to win any games. Like, it's just simple as that. So this was a dominant performance from the pitching staff, I would say, on both sides, really. Oliverio, he comes in, he pitches the rest. He gives up 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He looked really good. There's a lot of positives to take away from the pitching staff. And even on the flip side, Billos, he struck out the RailCats 9 times in 6 innings, and then Surwa has a 3 inning save. You know, listening to Andrew Mild talk and the broadcast with Graham and all of them, which really you guys should be listening because he's actually bringing a lot more to the broadcast as far as like interaction with the fans to a certain extent. He had, I think it was the RailCat sign kind of game. I didn't catch it fully, but he's gonna have him and Graham and I think some other staff members. Basically, you're gonna pick a player. You can't pick the same player and same player on back-to-back nights, I believe. And it's if they hit a single, you get a point, so on and so forth. Like it all kind of adds up to a game to a certain extent. And then they had a little trivia question of, who was the only RailCat on the team that was born in Chicago, which was Gio Diaz. So just things like that. So you kind of interact with it a little bit more on that front of it. There's a lot more in depth of understanding the baseball side of it. I think when with Ryan, he was able to paint you a picture and tell you a story about the players and some things inside of their personal lives. But with Andrew, he is more of that person that's going to give you the in-depth understanding, what a pitcher's thinking to versus what a batter's thinking, or vice versa, or what it's like to be practicing and when you eat, breathe, live baseball, and just that kind of stuff. That the kind of work that they put in and what the reasoning is behind the work, or certain drills, and so you got a different perspective of the broadcast. But at the beginning, though, the one thing that I when I look at it and I kind of look back upon it, Billos was, I mean, he was throwing, he was just throwing the balls in there. Like he was just giving the RailCats troubles. He was attacking them. They weren't really expecting them. He threw pitches at the right time, which kind of threw the RailCats off. But striking out 11 times is not a good sign. Yeah, a lot of them are swing and misses. They're not a lot of backwards Ks, but that's still an issue to, like, you got to make some kind of contact. It's not trying to hit the home run ball. And I watched Gio the first at bat trying to do too much, and then he brings himself back. And yeah, he went 0 for 4, I believe, but he only had the one strikeout and he hit the ball. Basabi and Will Decker both striking out 3 times each doesn't help anything, and Sierra striking out 2 times doesn't help anything. So when you get multiple people striking out at the same time or more than once, that's when things can kind of become a bit of an issue to a certain extent, because we don't necessarily need that. When you look at the Chicago side, there's no one that struck out more than once. So you're just gonna the thing is you take a player that can put the ball into play, and that's gonna be more positive than negative, because eventually something's gonna happen. So I just think it's one of these situations where you may have to take another ball or two, another strike or two to see it, and you may have to get out yourself a little bit and take a ball to a certain area of the field that you're not necessarily used to. Yet again, this is game 1. It's an off night for everyone. The first game back, seeing actual competitive baseball, spring training. You can classify it as that, but it's really not. This is the first time where the hits matter, the strikeouts matter, the walks matter. The spring training games is all about you just trying to make the team. This is about the team trying to win. That's basically what you get out of it, and that's that. I mean, that's when you come down to it. So when you look at the batting statistics here, For the RailCats, Decker went 1 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Gio Diaz went 0 for 4 with 1 strikeout. Basabi went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Quintano went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. LG Castillo 0 for 4, 1 strikeout. Valero 1 for 2 with a walk. Jacob Bockley 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Marco Gonzalez 0 for 3, and then Miguel Sierra 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. That's now I get that Bockley is the DH, okay, but let's just put this in perspective. Now I understand that like the batting average, he's 0 for 1, right? He's 0 for 1. But this is why I sometimes when it gets in the batting, it's when you have to look at it in total to a certain extent, because to me, obviously, a walk is as good as a single. So if we're going through and Bockley, just for example, goes through this series, right? And he goes, say he has a night like tonight and tomorrow and on Sunday, where he walks twice and then he hits the ball and he gets out once. So technically he went 0 for 1. So he'll be at 0 for 3, but with 6 walks. There's no reason to roll up a red flag and an alarm going off because he's walking. He's getting on base. I would rather take a guy that's going to get on base versus a guy that's going to strike out 3 times and get 1 hit. Oops, sorry for hitting the mic. That might hurt your ears. Just because he is getting on base, I will take his 2 walks over a Sierra 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts any day of the week. And I think most people would. The 1 hit, yeah, you're right, that 1 hit may drive in 2 runs, but you getting on base twice just moved the line a little bit. I was also kind of surprised at his lineup to a certain extent. I was really expecting Gio Diaz to be number 1. I think that's where he's comfortable at. I think that's a good spot for him to be. I could see Valera further down in the lineup. I was kind of surprised by that. He's one of the more consistent hitters of the RailCats, so I would expect him to be maybe in that 2. I know people don't really like him in the 3 spot because he doesn't necessarily have the power, but he's going to get hits. I at this point, you could just probably put him in the cleanup hole. You may not hit home runs, but if you get 2 or 3 people on, we get a person or 2 on base, and he's going to give you that production. That's what your cleanup hitter needs to be. I think, me personally, I feel like everyone has this misconception of a cleanup hitter being someone that hits the ball out of the park and clears the bases. You're right. That's what cleanup hitter means. You get bases loaded. In an ideal world, bases loaded, he swings, hits a home run, grand slam every time that happens. But that doesn't happen every time. Give me a guy that is going, if you have runners on base, if you're telling me, right, let's just put this out. Gio Diaz is on base, and he gets on base 40% of the time, right? And Valera is hitting just under 300 or something along the lines of that. And then you sprinkle in a couple people here and there that might get on. You might be up 1-0 majority of the time, because if Gio Diaz gets on and he gets to second, Valera hits it up the middle, and Gio's standing at home. You may have 2 outs. Not saying that in another ideal world, but give me the guy that's most consistent. Who's going to give you that consistency there in that number 4 or number 3 spot versus a guy that might hit a home run every other game, and that's it. Like, just give me that guy. Just give me I'm just so surprised. And now, yet again, this is where the issue with not seeing any spring training updates about anything hinders us, because we don't know what they did in spring training. They mentioned it a little bit that Basabi was doing really good, and you just don't know because you just don't see it. That's just one of those things I have. It is what it is. Looking at the dog side of things, Turbo went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Bell went 1 for 3 with a run, 1 walk, and a strikeout. DeSandro, he went 0 for 3, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Cook went 1 for 2 with an RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. Melberry went 1 for 4. Teeter went 1 for 3, 1 run, 1 RBI, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Parks went 1 for 2 with an RBI, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Grant Parks went 0 for 3, and Stroop went 2 for 3. Looking at the pitching side, Carlos Sanabria went 3 and 2/3 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs given up, both earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Andres Diaz went 1/3 inning, giving up 1 hit. DNA Olivero went 1 for 4, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Looking on the pitching side for the Chicago Dogs, Billos went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Suro has the save, and he went 3 innings, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Sanabria gets the loss, and Billos gets the win. So, I mean, that's kind of wrapping up what you have here. I can look at the scoreboards real quick at the time of what's going on. I think King County and Milkman, I think they're underway. I think they're actually playing, but something happened. I'm not sure. That Point Streak's being Point Streak again. Sioux Falls beats the Dock Hounds 4-2. It's right now at the bottom of the 9th. Salt Dogs and Red Hawks are tied. Kansas City beats the Explorers 4-0, and Cleburne wins 2 in a row, beating the Winnipeg Gold Eyes 6-4. Obviously, the Franklin Field one I can't figure out because they don't have that one. I think at the time I remember seeing when I saw it, the Milkmen were losing like 6-0. So maybe that's why they're not posting the score, because they're losing 6-0. But that's beside the point. What's going on over there? But yeah, that's the scores from tonight. That at the point of me recording this. Going forward, I close tomorrow and Sunday, so I will not be having anything for podcast wise. I won't be updating anything on social media wise, just because I will be at work. So when the games come final, or the case maybe, I'll be able to post something. But I'm hoping on Monday, with it being an off day, I'll have a podcast episode talking about what happened in the dog series, and then kind of looking forward to the next series. And then I kind of go back into my old schedule, and it just kind of depend on the day and what time the games get over. I might do something real quick. It might be like 15-minute, like, boom, here's what happened in the game. Really quick short edit down and let it go. I may look at something along the lines of maybe doing like YouTube live, streaming it, or Facebook or Twitter. I don't know. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do. If you have any ideas what would be best, that way I can do an episode, and I'll probably be more of the Facebook post game. That's way it's over in 15, 20 minutes, and I can just let it be. And that's just kind of what it is. And then when I have an actual podcast episode about something, then I'll rope it all together. I just don't have the time. I don't have enough time in the day to do all of it. And I don't want to come home and do one, because by the time that I edit it down, and by the time I do it, by the time that I edit it down, by the time that I post it, the next game's going to already be started. And when I start going to the RailCats games, when it's at the Steel Yard, I know I'm not going to have time to do any of that by the time I get home at 2:30 or 3:30, and we have to cook dinner, and I have to be, by the time that we get up there, there's just no physical possible way. So I know at least on away games, I might just do a YouTube live sort of aspect of it. That way we're kind of still pushing what goes on in the game, But then, like I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do on that. We'll see. Maybe we'll test it out this year. But that's nor here nor there on that. That's just something that I have to come up with and think about. But yeah. So to recap, RailCats lose 3-0. Offense slacking, pitching looked good, defense looked good. Tomorrow's a new day. Sunday's a new day. No podcast episodes until probably Monday. So other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening when we're watching this, and enjoy the rest of the RailCats games, and hopefully see you Monday. Go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.